Rangers fans have had a pretty poor 7 years.
There's been times where you really did think that it was done.
It's about time Rangers stopped being a joke of a club, and hopefully Steven Gerrard is the man to stop that.
Steven Gerrard is an icon of the game, globally.
He's played at the very top.
Sometimes you look and you think, I can't believe that's Steven Gerrard in the Rangers dugout.
From a Rangers perspective, you would never have expected to see as a manager. In truth, it's still a bit surreal.
Makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside.
There's a lot of optimism. As a fan, you can't help but hope for a change when things have been so shit for so long.
7 years, the last 7 years have been, it's been a slightly horrible time actually to be a Rangers fan in many respects.
A lot of other fans in Scottish football refer to this period as the banter years.
The term the banter years was just very much a if you don't laugh you'll cry sort of reaction to everything that was going on.
We were accused of financial mismanagement, subsequently punished for that. We were demoted to the lowest professional tier of Scottish football and have tried to work our way back up.
6 managers over the past 7 years: McCoist, McDowell, McCall, Marty, Warburton, Kazinha.
We struggled all the way in terms of trying to get good football, and we spent a lot of money on players who were never good enough for Rangers.
A lot of negative press, a lot of baffling things that have happened to the club, both on and off the park. Every time there was a breaking news story somewhere about Scottish football, you knew it was going to be Rangers, and you knew it was going to be something ridiculous. It was things that you could not have scripted. It would have, if you'd put it in front of someone as a film, they'd have told you it was nonsense. We're finally back in the top league. Feels like we're just constantly hitting this glass ceiling if we can't get back to where we want to get to. All of that's led to where we are now, where the board's finally made a big choice, a bold choice, and if that pays off, that'll all be worth it in many ways. Kinda.
Everyone was kind of taken aback when Steven Gerrard got appointed as the Rangers manager, just because he's such a huge name, a huge figure in British, European, world football.
It was a shock to everyone, of course it was. And the first reaction was, is this real?
I think it's a real statement of intent of trying to bring Rangers back to where we feel we belong, which is at the top of Scottish football. I think it's quite a brave appointment.
Everyone was looking for Rangers to appoint a more experienced hand after some of the more recent disasters.
This appointment had to be the right appointment.
I think it was, wow, it's a gamble.
With Gerrard, it doesn't feel as much of a punt in the dark as it was with Kazinha or Warburton even. I think with Gerrard, it feels like a very good calculated risk. You're looking for someone with a winning attitude, with the ability to handle pressure, with the ability to thrive under pressure almost. All of the other things, Steven Gerrard ticked every box apart from experience.
What makes Steven Gerrard different from the guys who have previously come in as sort of rookie managers and inherited this job is that he's got an aura about him. Alan McCoist had an aura, but he was also a guy that players are all familiar with. He'd been assistant manager. Steven Gerrard's walking in as this unknown figure to them in a managerial sense, but a guy who's so well known in terms of what he achieved as a player. And I think that commands respect. Any day in that Rangers changing room are going to walk in and go, I can't argue with this guy. Anything I've achieved in my career, he's went up tenfold. If you ask someone to list the best Premier League midfielders of all time, I think Gerrard would probably be first or second name listed. Just from his attitude, I think he's a born winner.
114 caps for England. He played 130 games in Europe for Liverpool.
He's a Champions League winner. He came very close to winning the league with Liverpool. He was consistently the man that Liverpool looked to.
We can already see what strengths that he has, not just as a footballer, taking it into management and his first steps in management, but as a person. The way he conducts himself, and he'll expect players under his charge to step up to the plate and be equally driven as he has from the early days of his career.
I was a little bit apprehensive when he first took over. All of that, I think, was quashed. Seeing Steven Gerrard in his press conference the day he was announced as manager, just listening to the way that he talked, you were like, you get this, you get the size of our club, you know what this is about, you understand where we are and where we want to be, and you 100% back yourself to be the person to lead us into that. In terms of how Rangers fans are feeling about the Gerrard appointment, there's definitely a lot of positivity. You only had to look at the day he was announced and he came up
thousands of fans queuing outside just to go and get a glimpse of him.
You know, something that caught the imagination of supporters. I mean, if you think back, it was 5 days before Gerrard got appointed, the team had just been thumped, annihilated 5-0 by Celtic. The club then was in the point of mutiny. Supporters were going nuts. They demanded answers from the board. 5 days later, 7,000 of them turned up at Ibrox to welcome in, and it really just did seem to just turn the whole mood around the club around in one fell swoop.
Well, the aims of the club this season has to be beating Celtic. We've been embarrassed by them at Ibrox, we've been embarrassed by them at Parkhead and Hampden.
There's probably never been a bigger gap between the two clubs than there is at the moment. Celtic are streets ahead of Rangers.
They've just won a historic double treble. That's never happened in the Scottish game before. Their dominance is so all-encompassing.
That's the challenge for Steven Gerrard, is to try and bridge that with pretty meagre resources by comparison.
Rangers will want to beat Celtic, will want to do well in cups. The league has to become a priority as Celtic get closer and closer to 10 in a row. They're 3 away just now, and getting to 10 would be pretty disastrous for Rangers. Both clubs have been locked in 9 in a row. Celtic fans talk about the 9 in a row they won in the 60s. Rangers talk about 9 in a row they won in the 90s, and certainly something everybody's proud about here. So to be trumped by your nearest and dearest rivals to 10 would be pretty galling.
Leaves Gerrard with the task. It's basically 3 years in which to stop Celtic getting to double figures, and the number one priority for the Rangers support right now is to ensure that their team stops Celtic getting there.
For me, I just want to make sure we're progressing. I don't want to make another false start because it looks as though Celtic are going to win a title, which ultimately we weren't around for 5 years of it, so it almost doesn't feel like, you know, a 10 in a row. It will to them. We need to focus on ourselves, and if it means making 4, 5, 6 years before we're back on top, so be it.
Will Celtic fans be worried about Steven Gerrard? Probably not, because they've got Brendan Rodgers, and look what he's achieved since he's come to Glasgow.
You can't really deny that it's an exciting appointment.
There's going to be a worldwide focus on him. Ridiculous levels that Scottish football hasn't seen in a long time. You know, it adds that little touch of excitement. They'll just tell you they hate him or such like. But I think, you know, secretly there'll be a little bit of excitement about his appointment and what that means for them as well.
I honestly can't think of a time as a Rangers fan where there's been this collective optimism or enthusiasm for the manager, for the club, for where we're going, for the potential of what we could achieve, probably since, you know, the mid-90s.
That's the mood right now, optimistic. We've forgotten what's happened last season, we've sort of forgotten what's happened the season before, and hopefully this is our time.
If there's one man who is on a mission to address the problems at the club while going head to head with their biggest rivals at the other side of the city, no one is better equipped perhaps than Steven Gerrard.
Is Steven Gerrard the man who stops Celtic?
I really hope Steven Gerrard's the man to stop Celtic.
Yes, I think he is, but it's still going to require a lot of hard work, a lot of backing and a huge slice of luck.
He's a rookie manager, but there's nothing this guy doesn't know about football.